Apple's MacBook Air M4 isn't just a spec bump. After 2 solid weeks of testing and real-world use, it's clear that Apple has built what could easily be the most well-rounded, high-value laptop in the game right now. In this in-depth review from Technology Review, we break down everything that's new, everything that works better, and everything you should know if you're deciding whether or not to make this your next laptop. We cover the upgrades to the chip, performance benchmarks, design enhancements, display details, thermal limitations, battery endurance, and external display capabilities. This is your definitive MacBook Air M4 review after extended use. Practical, honest, and focused on what really matters. Find out why the MacBook Air M4 is likely the best option for students, creators, developers, and everyday professionals alike. The MacBook Air has always held a unique place in Apple's lineup. It's the most affordable MacBook, the thinnest and the most portable. But with the new M4 chip powering it, the MacBook Air has grown into something else entirely. After using this machine for 2 weeks, it's clear that this isn't just a minor upgrade. It's a massive value shift in what users can expect from a thin and light laptop. Let's start with what really matters: performance. Powered by Apple's M4 chip, the new MacBook Air isn't just fast for its class. It rivals machines twice its price. Apple has kept its winning formula intact, using a fanless design and lightweight chassis, but somehow delivered even more performance with better efficiency. The base configuration now comes with a 10-core GPU and starts with 16 gigabytes of unified memory, which is a significant jump compared to previous base models. In daily tasks, the performance boost is tangible. From app launches to multitasking across Chrome tabs, image editing in Pixelmator Pro, and video work in Final Cut Pro, the M4 MacBook Air just doesn't flinch. You'll feel the difference if you're coming from an M1 or even an M2. The CPU gains hover around 17 to 20% depending on the task, and GPU performance is roughly 10% better than its predecessor. Not a leap for M3 users, but still impressive across the board. And then there's the design, nearly identical to the M2 and M3, but with an all-new color option: sky blue. This tone looks clean and professional, with subtle shifts in hue depending on lighting. More importantly, it doesn't pick up fingerprints the way darker models do. You still get the same rock-solid build, made from 100% recycled aluminum, and a premium fit and finish that few PC laptops can match at this price. Port selection remains the same, which might disappoint some, but 2 Thunderbolt 4 ports and MagSafe charging are still very much appreciated, especially since Apple now includes a color-matched, braided MagSafe cable in the box. The 13.6-inch Liquid Retina display continues to be one of the best in the Ultrabook space. While it's not mini LED or OLED, it covers nearly 100% of the P3 color gamut and offers strong brightness and contrast. This panel has subtle improvements over the previous generation, with better black levels and slightly higher contrast, up to 1500 to 1 versus 1300 to 1 previously. For content creators who care about color accuracy, this display is more than capable. But the real surprise this year? The M4 MacBook Air supports dual external monitors, while still keeping the built-in display active. This is a first for any Air model and a big deal for power users. Whether you're building out a dual 6K workstation or just want a more flexible desk setup, the Air can finally keep up without needing to close the lid or buy a Pro model. Where things get even more interesting is in thermal management. With no fans, Apple relies entirely on passive cooling. The machine warms up during heavier tasks, especially when pushing the GPU, but it remains impressively stable. Even when running 4K timelines or compiling large code bases, thermal throttling is minimal and doesn't cripple performance. That said, those who regularly push hardware with demanding 3D modeling or complex plug-in use might still want the M4 Pro for sustained workloads. Still, if you're doing the occasional After Effects render or Logic Pro session, this machine holds up remarkably well. Its integrated media engine ensures fast exports in Final Cut and smooth performance in apps optimized for Apple Silicon. Battery life continues to be one of the MacBook Air's strongest advantages. Apple claims up to 18 hours of video playback, and in our testing, light use stretched nearly 2 full workdays on a single charge. More demanding sessions involving code, design, and media work trimmed that down to a single day, but that still places it ahead of most competitors. And then there's the audio. This laptop still has some of the best speakers in the category. Spatial audio, surprisingly full mids, and clean highs make everything from Zoom calls to Netflix sessions more enjoyable. The mic array is equally strong, and FaceTime calls feel clear and natural. The new 12MP webcam also introduces desk view and stage centering, though those features remain a bit gimmicky for most users. Connectivity has been solid throughout with Wi-Fi 6E and Bluetooth 5.3, offering stable performance across video calls, AirDrop transfers, and paired accessories. Nothing groundbreaking here, but no complaints either. Storage options still range from 512 gigabytes up to 2 terabytes, and Apple hasn't downgraded SSD speeds the way it briefly did with early M2 models. File transfers remain snappy and consistent. When you step back and consider everything Apple has packed into this machine for $999, it becomes increasingly difficult to justify spending more, especially for general users, students, creators, and even light pros. That's not to say it's perfect. For instance, GPU-heavy workflows like 3D animation or serious gaming will push it past its limits. The lack of more ports or higher refresh displays also limits its use case for some. But for the majority of users, there's very little this machine can't do. And when compared to similar thin and light Windows Ultrabooks, many of which now carry AI chips or OLED displays, the M4 Air still manages to hold its own. Battery life alone gives it the edge, and macOS's efficiency is unmatched in this segment. If you're deciding between the M3 and M4 Air, the biggest differences come down to multitasking capability and display output. If you want to drive multiple monitors and future-proof your memory needs, the M4 is the one to get. For existing M2 Air users, this might not be a must upgrade, but anyone coming from an Intel Mac or a Windows Ultrabook will be blown away. In short, the M4 MacBook Air is a near-perfect balance of price, performance, portability, and polish. It's not the most powerful laptop Apple makes, but it is arguably the smartest purchase in the lineup right now. It represents Apple at its most efficient, delivering just enough Pro features to keep even power users happy without tipping into MacBook Pro pricing. If you've been on the fence about what laptop to get in 2024, this may be your answer. We'll have a full comparison with the M4 MacBook Pro soon, but for now, know that the MacBook Air M4 isn't just worth the hype, it's worth every penny. This is Technology Review. Subscribe now and stay tuned for more hands-on reviews, performance tests, and real-world breakdowns of the latest tech that actually matters.